And the recording has started. Where is Priscilla? Bum, bum. Share screen. Hey, Priscilla. Can you hear me?
There we go. I think I'm good.
Yep, that sounds good. Can you hear me well?
I can.
If somebody wants to put in a little question and answer and let us know how well you can hear us, or comment or chat. Sorry. Chat. Good morning.
Tomorrow. Hey, tomorrow.
Hearing is good. Sound is good. Guess that makes more sense. So when I set this up, Priscilla, I did it as a webinar, not a meeting.
Okay.
And when you do it as a webinar on Zoom, we don't get to see everybody and we don't get to hear. It's done as like a question and answer or a chat.
Okay.
Which is a bummer because it's fun to see everybody.
Well, you've got all the power on your end, so if you can.
I like having power, but can you see me?
All the power. I'm just here.
Do you see me in there?
I see you.
That's so weird because usually, well, I'm actually glad I don't want to see myself, so that's probably good. I just couldn't see anything. Okay, cool. How's your morning going?
It is going so well. We are operating business as unusual. We are limiting the amount of people we have in our office. So I'm hunkered down in one of our closing rooms so I can have some good lighting because, you know, that's important when you have webinars. And I've been working from home.
Cool.
Except for now, so.
Yeah, your lighting looks good. My home office, my lighting is not good.
Yeah, appreciate
It's
that.
really weird. Does everybody see the PowerPoint?
I can see that in the center of the screen.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure everything works well before we start. And we'll give it a couple minutes to get everybody here. Everybody's hunkered down. It's such a funny saying, hunkered down.
Things we never thought we'd say, right?
Yeah.
Quarantine, homeschooling, things that were completely out of my vocabulary a year ago are now daily terms. So we're all swinging with the new punches that are coming. So
Yes.
he's done a good job at keeping up. So
cool. So we do have a question and answer Q&A. So if anybody has questions, we can probably answer them as we go, or some of them we might want to save. Whatever you want to do, Priscilla.
sure, we can answer them as we go. If they're on topic, if it's something that we're going to be addressing later on, maybe we'll hold on to the question, but I'm perfectly fine going as we go.
Cool. And we're going to, or not going to, I'm recording this. And just so everybody knows, we will send out the PowerPoint and a lot of other cool items for everybody. So you will be getting the PowerPoint. I guess we can also send a link to the video. I don't know if, I mean, people send links and then you never rewatch it, but you never know. So we'll do it just as a backup.
Right.
And definitely the PowerPoint, and then some of the things that we talk about. Um, we have additional value items that we'll send. So, yeah, and I'll probably bring it up as we go, different things.
Absolutely.
Nice. Do you want to get started? Do you think we should get started?
Yes, I think we should. So for those of y'all who don't know who I am, I'm Priscilla Jasper. I am the sales executive I'm one of the partnering sales executives for Old Republic Title in Katy and Cinco Ranch, both of our branches here. And Richard asked me to help put on this webinar with him, and I enjoy partnering and doing classes with Richard, and both kind of in the same position of saying, how are we going to help our agents through this? So I was excited whenever he had this idea to do this webinar, and we miss doing classes together. So I was excited that we can bring it and do it virtually and get this going. So thanks for having me, Richard.
You bet. Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of fun doing classes live because there's interaction, and obviously probably everybody's working from home watching this and lacking interaction lately, with the quarantine and stay at home orders and so forth, even though we're all essential, but it seems like we're at home a heck of a lot. So it's not the same as a live class, but hey, we're going through different times, and there's so many things we can do for our business with having a heart to help. Because I don't know about, I think you agree, Priscilla, that most, if not all, realtors have a passion to help people. And there's so many ways to do that even now. But we're also in business, and, everybody on the call is considered self-employed. Nobody gets paid unless they close transactions. So even though we're in tough times, we still have to think about work, obviously, because things we do today, we will see the results anywhere from 30, 60, 90 plus days. So there's so many things, there's so much we can do right now from home. And that's what we're going to kind of touch on, if everybody's ready. I do want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Mary. She is in the same coaching group as I am. I'm one of the coaches with the Marketing Animals, and I guess I should introduce myself for those that don't know me. I'm Richard Smith. I am a branch manager and loan officer with Southwest Funding, also a coach with the Marketing Animals, and co-founder and owner of Remote Assistant Scout. We hire virtual assistants for realtors and loan officers. But what I'm kind of known for is just teaching and helping. And that's my passion, teaching classes, helping. So we went over that. But anyway, Mary is a good friend of mine. She's a coach also, and she's a realtor. And I think, I shouldn't say I think, I know. In March, I guess all this started in mid-March, beginning of March, things were pretty normal, but she closed about 5 million herself in March. She's a great lady. 100% of her business is referral based, which, most realtors probably on the call, the average realtor in the United States, 85% of their business comes from people that know, like, and trust them. And 100% of Mary's is that. So referrals, past clients, friends, family, sphere of influence, et cetera. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today, actually probably almost all of what we're going to talk about today is just that, and putting that on steroids right now while we are at home to ensure that we're helping people, number one. Number two, that we're keeping top of mind. And number three, I think really, really more important is we can be literally the only people in people's lives that are actually reaching out with, a heart to help. Because I don't know about you, Priscilla, but have you gotten a call, not realtors, but let's say any type of business service that you've used in the past, whether it's doctor, who knows, any kind of business out there. Have you gotten one call since this has started, just someone checking to see how you're doing?
Absolutely not. Other than our church, that is it, honestly, and other people within the industry. So I do
Right.
there's something to be said about the real estate industry as a whole. It's more than just closing commissions. We're about helping people, and so that says a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, Mary helped put this PowerPoint together. Actually, some of the information in here are things that she's doing, things that her and people in our coaching group are doing and have done, and have had great success with. So I kind of made some changes, added some things, and did some different stuff. But I wanted to give a shout out to her because she's a pretty cool lady. I was going to start, Priscilla, just to talk about what's happening and the fact that it's not the mortgage crisis. And I don't know how many people on right now listening to this have been in the business that long, but they've been alive that long and have seen what happened. I started in the business 2004, so I kind of went through this. There's some crazy stuff happening in the economy, and there's some really crazy stuff happening in the mortgage industry. It's good if you get with the loan officer and talk to them about these things. But again, it's not the 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, where there was literally, at the time, I remember this, there was literally no end in sight. Like, we had no idea, when is this going to change? When is this going to get better? What we're going through now, it's as quick as it came. I think it's going to be a really fast recovery, especially in our industry. And that's not just, well, it is my opinion, but it's I listen and talk to a lot of very smart people across the country, at least in the mortgage and real estate industry. And that is a big agreement that we still are going to have a spectacular 2020 because, like I said, this is going to come and go pretty fast. And the most important thing, I think, is mindset. And I know you agree, Priscilla. This is really about what we're going through in so many ways, how you're going to handle it. And it's not just about business and having a great 2020. It's about life and happiness with family. Is your mindset on staying optimistic and staying positive through this. Yes, if you watch the news, it is depressing. It is very tough to hear about what's happening, and we need to do the right things to get through it as quick as possible. And that's to save lives, but also to get things back to normal, and financially and friendships and everything. So I do want to, and Priscilla, you interject anytime you want to, but I want to share something that a mentor of mine was telling me. I guess it was a few days ago. He said there's really 5 realizations right now, and I want to get into the strategies and things that we can do, but I want to talk about this real quick because mindset is everything. But he talked to me about these 5 realizations, and the first realization is what we are going through is going to end, right? Do you agree with me on that?
Absolutely. I see the reports every morning of new listings that are still coming on the market in the Katy area.
Right.
And, for so far, I see positive movement happening. We still are busy here at the title company. We've got
Yep.
closing, and I think that we're going to be able to make it through this. And it's not going to be anything like 2008, which at that point, I was living in Las Vegas as an HOA manager, working for an HOA management company. And so you can imagine.
What were you, like 12?
I was 23. I was
Okay.
23, and I was fortunate enough. I had a brand new newborn baby, and he was in my office with me. But the foreclosure rate was over 50%, and so we were seeing so much movement in Las Vegas. It was insane.
Yeah.
So when I see these reports every morning of all of the new listings coming up, all of my friends that are talking about how many buyers they're working with right now, I don't think this is going to be anywhere near that at all.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%. So I think we all agree this is going to end, right? But realization number 2 is it's likely to end very, very soon. And when I say very, very soon, think about it, what you just talked about, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, maybe it didn't start in 2004, but you get what I'm saying. Worst case, it's probably, or could not probably, worst case, it could be 90 days, right? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, not 9 years, not even 2 years, not even 1 year. Like this will end, and it'll end shortly. And it's likely to end in a month, maybe, right? I'm not an expert.
It could.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. Hopefully this thing doesn't get too big, at least in Texas, and we
Right.
can move forward. But what we're going to focus on right now, while we have a little bit of downtime, is what's going to make or break the rest of the year.
Exactly. And that's funny you say that, because realization number 5 is this really could be the moment you're waiting for. Because we, and when I say we, I mean us in real estate, we are part of the solution. And we literally can make, like, it's funny because I just saw what's showing on your screen this morning on Facebook. So I just took a little snapshot of it. The real estate industry supports 10 million jobs in the US, makes up 17% of our economy, real estate. And so we are definitely part of the solution, our industry. And so what we're going to talk about today are strategies, and I even hate to call them strategies right now, because the things that we're doing, and I'm doing, and so many people are doing. Well, I would say there's 2 realtors out there right now, or 2 people. I don't even want to say realtors. I think there's 2 types of people, and we can be both. We could be one and switch to the other, which is me last week. Is watching the news, being in fear, and it's stopping us from doing anything, because we feel like, well, even though we're essential, nobody wants to buy or sell. So we're in a fear mode. And last week I was watching the news, and it was just one of those things where it stops you from doing anything. And so that's a mindset shift. And so if anybody on here, like what we do now, it has to be different, right, Priscilla? It has to be different what we're doing. Like, we don't want to start doing cold calls asking people to list their house. We want to call people to see how they're doing and so forth. So the second person are people that they're doing. So they're doing training. So everybody on here is very smart, because this is a time we had extra time on our hands. We need to learn. We need to, get better at what we do as real estate agents. We need to time block time, and we're going to go over those things today. We need to time block time to reach out and still communicate with people and so forth. So we're a big part of this solution of getting the country back on its feet. And, you know, like we said, I think it's going to happen really fast. So some of the stuff, Priscilla, that I'm going to talk about are basics, and I'm sure we've heard back to the basics. So if you take a look at number one on the plan is get into your past client database. And I probably should change those words because it's not just past clients. It's anybody that knows you.
Right.
Friends, family, we call it sphere of influence, right? Or sphere. Because those are the people that, you know, we reach out to. I kind of make a joke saying anybody that's breathing air can potentially refer somebody to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you get into that database, number one, and every morning write some handwritten notes. And I know I've heard people say, well, we lick the envelope.
I tape them right now. I do the same thing, and I'm taping mine.
Yep. Perfect.
Tape them closed.
Yep, we had someone also in our coach group that they wrote on the back of the envelope, and it was just like a little smiley face and said, "This envelope was not licked." Yep.
That's a way to be different.
Yeah, and think about it. People do have that fear, like, how do I know this is safe? So, but the cool thing is, and I've actually, part of my daily ritual is I write handwritten notes. I used to do 3 a day, then I went to 5 a day. Right now is the perfect time to do. I mean, everybody has extra time, so now is the great time to do 10. When we go to our mailbox, we get junk. Or if we order something and Amazon happens to not deliver it to our door and it goes into the mailbox. That's it. People want that connection of old school technology, which was handwritten notes. And now it's even more important because imagine your past clients, people that know you, they know you're a realtor. Like the things that we're going to talk about, there's a little less asking for business right now. But I agree with what you said at the beginning, Priscilla. There are still people, like I talked to a client yesterday. They went and looked at houses. Are we going to be able to close at the end of this month? I want to get closed before school starts back up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, like people are still out there. I talk to people every day. But we have to be very sensitive right now. So that's what we're going to talk about, some different ways. But people that know me, or people that know you guys, if they get a handwritten note from you, it's important because they're not getting much right now. And I get it that, you know, people are at home, they're bored, and we, as a community, as humans, we lack connection. And I've always said, you know, there's going to be great things that happen digitally and online and to make our lives easier, to communicate better. But people want that connection. That's why I'm a, you know, huge believer. There will always be a need for realtors. And I get it. Because people want that connection. I mean, there are people that are okay with seeing a house virtually, and we're going to talk about that today because right now it works. And it will work in the future, but the whole, what is it? One store, open door?
Redfin or Open Door.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the remote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be people that do that in the future, and more people may, but that will be a tiny slice of the pie. There will always realtors are not the taxi cabs that, you know, and even cabs still have business, but it's not going to be a shift like that because of the connection thing. People want that connection. And so handwritten notes, because I've done them for so many years, I've gotten phone calls from people just thanking me for the handwritten note. That's how important it is. And so a lot of people ask, well, what should I write? I keep it real simple. I just, I'll say in many of my notes, I will just say the person's name. I appreciate you, Richard. Or in these, times we're going through, I'm doing a little bit more in depth, like, hey, just checking up on you and the family. I hope everything's okay. Want to let you know I appreciate you, da, da, da. So 10 handwritten notes a day. And you can do more.
Right. And what I've been doing is any of my clients that or friends of mine in the industry who my kids know, I'm having them help me. Hey, we're doubling up on handwriting now.
Yes.
So my kids are even getting involved in it. And I think it not only is teaching them how to be appreciative of things,
Yeah.
but it's also helping them learn how to help people. And so in a, we have to get creative at this time. And so, yes, with the handwritten notes, calling people, checking on them. I've been doing drive-by pop-bys. I kind of created that myself. So we're leaving it on I'm sending my kids, they'll go run, drop some coloring books on people's porches so that, as a mom of 4 kids, 2 I birthed, two I inherited. But I understand what it's like to be home right now, trying to school these kids. So just anything that you can do to bring a smile to people, to let them know that you're there, that you're supporting them, that you're with them during this unprecedented time that we're all having to deal with. It's money generating activity, but it is not asking for your business. It's not, it's just staying in front of them in a different way.
Yep. I agree 100%. And that's a good segue to number 2, because those same people, you've got to call them and you got to check up on them, and you have to see how they're doing. Come with a place of caring and contribution. How can I help you? Now is the time to do that. And I asked you earlier, have you gotten any phone calls from any kind of businesses or anybody? No, nobody. And so the phone calls that we're making right now, and the phone calls that I think every realtor should be making, are to their database. So not just past clients. I had somebody ask, what if I only have a couple past clients? It's not just past clients that you're doing this. Yeah, it's anyone and everyone that you know. And so making those phone calls to check up on them, it right now is so important, because think about this. This is going to end. It's going to end quicker than, quick. I mean, not a year, 2 years. I mean, this is going to end pretty fast, and people are going to remember that the only person that called them during this, aside from family and maybe a couple friends, was their realtor, or was you as a realtor / friend, or you as a realtor / family member, or even, I'm calling people that I've met on a professional level. When I mean that is like when I go to the doctor office, I'm a huge believer in every person that I ever meet. I connect with them on Facebook. And so Facebook is like number 2 greatest database in the world. Your number 1 greatest database is usually your cell phone, if you're adding everybody. And so, my doctor, attorney, so many other professionals that I use, I'm friends with them on Facebook. So I'm calling them to check up on them. So, and I'm doing it with the heart. We got to be real careful if we're doing this as a strategy, and we don't really care for somebody, but we're going to do it just because it doesn't work. People can read through that, right?
See that. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm doing it with a heart, but at the same time, like everybody on here, we're still business people. We still help people buy and sell houses. So the way I see it is, if, 6 months from now, my doctor is deciding to buy another house, I feel pretty good that he's going to call me, because I'm going to assume that no one else called him during these times. And you guys get what I'm saying. And that's everybody. That's everybody that you call. So part of the strategy for what we're going through, and everybody is probably working from home. I'm going to tell you what I do, and then I'm going to tell you what realtors and loan officers in our coaching group do, and the great success that they're having. And so they time block and we time block 9 to 11. So that's two.
We call it power hour.
Yes. But right now, 2 hours, power 2 hours, because we all have time. And those are the best freaking 2 hours that we could do right now. Because 85% of realtors' business comes from interacting with people and or business comes from referrals. So not Zillow leads, not this other stuff. 85% of realtors' business in this country come from referrals, people that know, like, and trust them. And our number one thing is talking or meeting with potential buyers and sellers. So these 2 hours are huge. So from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday, and we do this normally, but a lot of people, the majority don't. Like, Priscilla, do you want to guess and I'll say loan officer, it's really average salesperson, but do you want to guess what the average loan officer a week, how many hours they make these outbound phone calls? Because if we do 9 to 11, so that's 10 hours. But do you want to guess how many the average?
How many what?
How many hours a week does the average salesperson do these?
Maybe 2.
So the average in the US is less than 15 minutes. Yeah. So you can, that's the average. So think about this. That means 50% do less than 15 minutes, 50% do more than 15 minutes. Now, the people actually closing transactions are into the 1 to 2 hours a day.
Right. Well, and I was born in 1986, but I do not identify as a millennial. I always tell everybody that I do not identify as a millennial because I like to pick up the phone. And I think that's important. I think that's being lost. I think a lot of people, younger generations, are losing that personal touch. And so whenever I do meet with my agents one-on-one, I do encourage them, pick up the phone and make that phone call. It is more personal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's direly important, and it's actually being lost, and it's sad.
Yeah. And especially now, it's so much more important because people are craving interaction. Mm-hmm. So what I've found the past week, 2 weeks here is, and this has been the biggest, I just interrupted myself. I hate when people do that, and I do it all the time. This has been the biggest, I would say, complaint that I hear from realtors. And it's not a bad complaint because we're busy. And so the biggest complaint is, well, when I call, there's so many of my past clients, when I call, I'm on the phone with them for 30 minutes. It could be an hour. And the easiest part in that case is to be proactive at the beginning of the call and say, hey, I only have a few minutes, but I wanted to reach out and say hi, blah, blah, blah. So when you say that proactively, you can get off the phone quicker. But what I've found the last couple of weeks, because I'm making these calls, is that people are staying on the phone longer than normal.
Right.
Because people want to talk and interact. And so I'm just running with it. So, because think about it, if you spend 2 hours or 3 hours calling people, you're building that relationship. People are going to, they're going to remember you were the one that called and checked up on them. They're going to remember that you're the one that called to try to see if they need anything. And I'm not talking about real estate right now, just anything, kind of like you with dropping off the coloring books. I mean, people will remember that kind of stuff. And so these calls, and I would also just add that this is a 2-hour time block. Monday through Friday should be the norm. But if you're not doing that normally, because yes, we get busy, you got to do it now. So I'm going to really, really quick run through how I do the time block, because it sounds simple, but it's not, because we got to be consistent. So the one thing that I do is it's in my calendar, and it's in my calendar every weekday. I don't schedule anything, not 100%, like, because right now we have this class, so I'm not doing it. But I don't, if something does get scheduled above it, like this class, it's just moved to another time. So, but it's in my calendar with reminders set, because you've got to remind yourself. It sounds simple, but you do it a week, and then all of a sudden a year goes by and you're like, oh, I should have never stopped doing that. We have that with strategies that we do all the time. Number two, if you do these now, probably you're doing these calls from home, but whether it's at home, whether it's at the office, I have a sign that I put on my door. If you don't have an office and you use a room, whatever room, wherever you go, put a sign up. Years ago, I told my kids, I said, if that sign is on the door and I'm making my calls from, having a time block in my home office, you don't come in, you don't knock unless the house is burning down. That's it. That's the one thing. When I'm at the office doing it, I have a sign on the door. When that sign is on the door, I am in a time block. And I'm respecting that time block. And you guys got to think about this. You need to respect that time block, with that 2-hour time block of making calls, the same way you would respect a listing appointment or a meeting with a buyer. And when I say that, is you're respecting that. You're not going to change it because somebody calls and says, hey, let's go do this. Or, it is an appointment that you're going to respect the same as a listing appointment, which also means you don't look at Facebook. If a friend calls, you don't answer. You are in a time block. If I'm in my time block and I'm at the office and somebody answers the phone, they're going to tell the person, hey, he's in an appointment right now. He'll be done at 11 o'clock and I can have him call you, blah, blah, blah. I will say one other quick thing that's real important is kind of giving the proper expectations from the very beginning when you have clients and so forth. So it's a easy, during a conversation I'm having with a potential borrower or whatever, or somebody's in the, process of buying, or for realtors, your buyers or sellers or whatever, you just tell them, hey, I have a continued appointment 9 to 11, Monday through Friday. If you call, I promise you'll be the first person I call as soon as I'm done with that appointment. If it's an emergency, send me a text, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. And nobody ever has an issue with it because people can wait. And it's the same thing with, I know an agent who takes Sundays off to be with family, to go to church and so forth. Well, this agent just tells every buyer and seller, hey, I need to be honest with you because Sunday is family day and it's my one day to spend with my family. It's my one day to go to church. I just wanted you to know that I don't work that day. I'll show houses. I'll do it on Saturday. I'll do it on the week, but I just can't on Sunday. This agent has never had an issue with anybody. Doesn't get phone calls and on Sunday because they know, and they've never lost business from it because the expectation was up front. And so that's really, really important. I don't know why I got on that tangent, Priscilla.
Well, I mean, it is important to discuss because that's absolutely true. It's true with business, it's true with kids, it's true with life. If the expectations are out there, then
Yeah.
it would be such a, backlash because, I mean, your clients knew that before they hired you for their listing appointment, right? So, I mean, I think that that's reasonable. So I think that's important.
Yep, I agree. And so that's where I was going, of the time blocking. So you have the everything shut off and you do the 2-hour time block. What we have found normally in 2 hours is we talk to about 13 people. So 70% of people do not answer their phone, 70, 75. And so we end up talking with 13. So our number is and this is normal because people answering their phone right now is a lot higher because everybody's at home. And you can easily talk to 13 people in a 2-hour time block. But I want to also add, because you brought up, you're not your normal millennial. You like talking on the phone, and there are people that don't like to talk on the phone. Right. And so that's one of the other expectations, the things that I always, when I talk to borrowers at the very beginning, I ask them, probably most people do, but what's your favorite form of communication? Do you like calls? Do you like text? Do you like email? So, because I can tell you a 70-year-old buyer is not, they're going to probably, maybe a lot of them might get annoyed if you're only texting them because you didn't ask them that they want to talk on the phone. Right. And I can guarantee you the millennials, or it's not even millennials, there's a lot of people out there that, because life is busy, that they want text, and here you are calling them all the time and you're pissing them off. And so we have to know what they like. I will say this, and this is a quick tip for everybody, is whether it's a referral that you get, whether it's leads you're working, whether it's past clients, the rule that I've instilled because of super, I would say one of the best salespeople I've ever seen in the world. Somebody asked him, "Hey, do you leave a voicemail? Like, what if I've called this person 5 times? Do I leave a voicemail?" And he said, absolutely yes. 100% of the time you leave a voicemail because you want people to hear your voice. So the 70% that don't answer, leave a voicemail and say the same thing. "Hey, I was just checking up on you. Wanted to make sure you and the family are okay. If you need anything, let me know. If you know anybody, that's hurting, that might need some groceries, let me know. I'm here to help." Blah, 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 right?
And a lot of those people that do like texts will leave that on their voicemail and say, "For a faster response, please text me." And so you'll have that heads up a lot of times. And something that we do over at Old Republic Title, when we are in a transaction with one of our clients, we do a customer expectation agreement. And so we go over that too. What is your best way to contact? Do you prefer phone calls? Do you prefer texting? And so when it comes to that might be something that could be helpful for our agents as well at the beginning of their, relationship, whenever they start working with a buyer or a seller, and say, what is the best way to contact you? And remember that for next time, because the likelihood, if you're following up, they're going to be a repeat client. And if you have that on file, you're going to look like stellar.
Yes.
So.
Yep. That's awesome. So the one thing that I changed with every call I make, now, number one, every call I make, I call them. And then the 70% that do not answer, 100% of the time, I leave a voicemail. And then 100% of the time now, I leave a text. And so what I found is the people that do want text and don't like the phone calls, they're now replying and answering and so the amount of people that I'm talking to that's replying back to me has gone way up, because I think before when I was not texting, I was leaving a voicemail, they weren't calling me back. And this is really good with like referrals and leads, because you don't know what type of communication they like. So when you're doing number 2 and you're making these calls every day, you're leaving a voicemail 100% of the time, and then you are sending a text for the people that aren't answering. The scripts, we're going to send everybody a script manual, and as far as any type of different calls that you guys are working on. But these calls, right now during the, the times we're in, it's so important to kind of checking up on people. And I know we talked about that. So getting your past client database and send. So more and more people are doing video selfies. I've always called them video selfies. I've been doing them for a couple years now. And just for those of you that don't or have never done that, it's so easy. And so I'll tell you exactly what I do. I literally open my phone, open the camera, and record a quick video. And I do right now during what we're going through, 10 a day might not even be enough because it doesn't take that much time. So I basically just do a selfie video, and I'm saying, hey, Mr. Jones, because you want it personalized, because you don't want them thinking it's just a blast. So I'll say, hey, Tom, Richard here, just wanted to stop and say hi. I was thinking about you. Hope everything is okay. Hope the family's okay. Anything that you need, it's the same kind of conversation, just checking on somebody. And once that video, you hit stop, all you do is hit the little upload button and then choose message, put their name in, and it's just a text message. So they're getting a text message from you, and it's the video, and they open the video. And so I've been doing those for a couple years now, and I was only doing like 3 a day, but right now it's better to do as many as you possibly can, like I said. But I've gotten such a huge response from that. I have people that text me back, you made my day, thank you so much. It's just that extra step. And so right now we all know being one-on-one is the greatest thing. We can't do that right now. Being on video is the next greatest thing because we're seeing each other. We're seeing our expressions, our passion, and so forth. So doing 10 of those a day is very important right now. I will say that I was going to say something about that. 10 video selfies. I forgot. And then video emails. I know a lot of people use BombBomb. I think it's probably the best with video emails. But again, the open rate, or not again, because I haven't said it, the open rate for emails is low, 11 to 14%. The open rate for text messages is closer to 100%. And so super important. Did you have anything you want to talk about with videos?
Well, and I know that a lot of agents that I've been speaking to have been doing this as well, the video texts, and they've gotten really good feedback from it. And it's, may not translate into, a contract right now, but it can build that relationship. So later on, you are staying top of mind, because that's at the end of the day, we have this off time right now. We've got to figure out how are we still going to stay top of mind when we are in the middle of a worldwide health pandemic.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we're not asking for the business per se, but we are still trying to stay in front of our audience, our sphere.
Yep. Agree. It's, and what we're finding is there are still people that want to do business right now. So there is business out there, just like you said earlier. It's just, we're seeing people that are responding, that are interested in moving forward now. But like you said, we still, most of the time, the things we do today in sales, the results of that's going to be 60, 90 days. So whatever you're doing, whatever strategies you're doing, even, and I'm not talking about during the pandemic, I'm talking about any time, the things that you're doing are, you're going to have closings in 60 to 90 days. So why not be that person? Because when things get back to normal, again, we're the ones that are, doing this. And I'll say, because somebody asked a question about the, um, do, do people get tired of hearing from you too often? Because, and the answer is no, not at all. And I'll give you a couple examples. On our follow-up program that we do, our past clients, people in the sphere, they hear from us on the phone normally 3 times a year. So I call them 3 times a year. Every month they get a mail out. 6 of those 12 months, it's literally an I like you and I appreciate you. That's it. Same thing over and over. They get a mail out every month. They get text messages, and we used to do 5 years and years ago, but obviously now it's like they're getting a text message every couple of weeks. And we're going to talk about ways that you can text your entire database, in 2 minutes or less without them knowing. Like, it's just, they feel like it's a personal text. So, because that's part of the strategies right now. And they get Facebook, some things that we'll talk about. So people do not get tired of hearing from you. So don't worry that if you send them a handwritten note today and you call them tomorrow and you send them a text the next day, no, people do not get tired of that, especially if you're telling them and that you appreciate them. So, 6 months out of the year, my past clients get a note that says, I like you, smiley face, Richard, right? They know I like them. So why am I sending it every time? Because I'm showing appreciation. And so it's super, super important for that. A quick note, because we forget these things. Every time somebody refers somebody to me, I write them a handwritten note and tell them I appreciate it, or I call them and tell them I appreciate it. It seems like we kind of feel like, well, they know, but trust me, they don't know.
Right.
We have to tell them.
Right. And a referral at the end of the day is the most flattering compliment that you could receive. And so you want to reward that behavior and show them that you're grateful for that. And then hopefully you'll get more and more referrals from that person. And so that's something that I absolutely believe in too. And so we do the same thing.
Awesome. Showing virtual properties. I've seen this more and more. I can tell you that, like Mary that I was mentioning earlier, she does this on a normal basis. She, excuse me, she's in Florida. She does it anyway, and sells houses to people that have never even seen the house. I saw something on Facebook today that, you can show the good and not show the bad. I'm not 100% I agree with that. I think it's kind of your fiduciary duty as a realtor to show them everything, but you can promote more the good, right? And when I say the bad, I mean, there might be like a little weird bathroom. You still got to show it, right? But now more than ever, people are responding very positive with virtual showings. Because think about this. Okay, we have a stay at home. We have to be careful. Like, and I thought I had it in one of the slides, but as an agent, you want to be careful. You want to have your antibacterial. You want to be very careful with the door, touching your face, stuff like that, because you are going into a house. And but in the times we're in right now, even though there still is business, there's less. Like, there are people that don't want to go see houses, right? So why not offer this? Because otherwise they're just going to wait this out. Why not show them houses if they don't want to physically go? And I talked to one agent, and she did 6 virtual showings. The client really, really liked one of them and said, you know what, let's go look at it. And so unfortunately there's multiple offers, and I'm hoping the buyer gets it because we should have a contract today. But so people are still doing that, but why not offer them that opportunity to go to show them houses and them not be there, but they are. They're there because you're on your phone with them and you're doing FaceTime. Kind of a couple suggestions: you be real careful with movement and shaking. And I can tell you from doing videos for a long time, and Michael's on here and he has done a ton of it too. Your hands get tired, your arms get tired, but you know what? That it is what it is. It's like, got to do what you got to do. But so be real careful with the shaking. You don't want it too shaky. You want to be real careful. Like I saw one video someone did where literally 60% of the screen was the ceiling. And I don't know, maybe they weren't looking. I don't know, but you just got to be real careful and go slow. And, if you have heels that are clicking, be careful on all the wood because the sound quality makes a difference too. So,
well, I've heard to get a selfie stick or
yes,
there's a few different things on Amazon you can order to help keep it balanced and not so shaky.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
Improve that quality of those videos. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that goes again into listings. It's a personal decision, obviously. Face-to-face meetings, you're around people and we're kind of being told not to, but we are essential. So it's a personal decision for agents whether they want to go out and show listings. I think just being very, very careful, but again, it's up to each individual. So we don't really need to go into that, but I know there's still people showing houses and they're just being careful. Number 7, really kind of, and like I said, I think most realtors, the majority, have a huge heart to help or they wouldn't be a realtor. And so right now, kind of double downing on that, looking for ways to give back, looking for ways to help. Food pantries, like the agent Mary who helped with this PowerPoint. I called her the other day and I said, "Hey, are you busy?" And she's like, "No, I'm up at the food pantry, working for a little bit." So, and that was before Florida Florida was a little late on the stay-at-home orders. But just look at ways you can help, even if it's virtually. One of the things that I do that 100% of the time is before I pick up the phone, I think, and I have this little thing that I just kind of say to myself is give myself a task, like find something that I can do for this person. And so, and it's not always, I don't mean it's real estate, like always find the business, but it's always have a heart to help. And so for those of you that know BNI, it's a business networking group. It's not a coincidence that almost always like BNI, it's one person from a different industry, and there's usually average 20, 25 people in the group, and they meet every week. The entire purpose of the group is to refer to each other. So a realtor would refer a plumber would refer to different people. And so it's not a coincidence that almost every time, and they track these referrals, by the way, that almost every time the person that got the most referrals is almost always the person that gave the most referrals. And it just shows you, it's kind of that law of reciprocity. When you give, you will receive. And so if you always give and always have that heart to help, it's always going to come back to you. And I'm talking about value, ideas, other people, other businesses. So just see what you can do to help. And think about this as an agent. We don't, that was funny. We should make a bloop. We always don't know all our neighbors great, but check up on them. Check up on people that you know are not working, people that you know got laid off, people that the thought is, well, I don't want to, why would I call them? They don't have a job. I'm not going to be able to do business. They're not going to buy a house. It doesn't matter. Like check up on them. And speaking of that, there's nobody that you shouldn't, right now, not as much, but if we go to asking for business, like you have an entire database in your phone, change, and this is more later, but change your call to action to not kind of think about the mindset. Do less of, hey, are you thinking about buying or selling? I would love to help you, blah, blah, blah. Basic, right? Go from asking that person to asking the person, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling in the next 6 months? Because number one, they already know you're a realtor. Number two, if you ask them who they know, they're more apt to think of somebody because they feel like, oh my gosh, I need to tell them because it's just what we do. We always want to, it's kind of like a lot of women love matchmaking people, right? So, and then if they happen to be one of them, they're going to tell you at that point. So if our call to action is always, and I'm not just saying phone calls, this is email, social media, this is any kind of marketing, any Facebook ads. If our call to action is always, are you thinking about buying or selling? That's a yes or no question. Who do you know is a yes and yes question because they want to answer you. And then if it's them, me, we're thinking about it. So kind of change that. That's just a quick tip that came to my head. Virtual showings. I thought we talked about that, but I wanted to bring up not just touring properties, but right now, offer your buyers to do a virtual inspection or a repair walkthrough. Because there are people that obviously there's a lot of business still in, people that are in the middle of a contract or towards the end. Just offer it. Hey, normally we do the final inspection where we all get together and, walk the house. If you like, I can do a virtual tour and do it. People appreciate that. And so the more things that you do like that, because think about it, you have to go anyway, right? And in the past, it's just another reason to get in front of and help build that relationship. But people will appreciate that you gave them the option. And some people say, no, we can go. We'll just be real careful. And then a lot of them will be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then 6 months from now, they're talking to their friend. Oh, you wouldn't even believe my realtor's so awesome. During that coronavirus, she actually did the walkthrough virtually with me, so I didn't have to take my family out. Just think of different ways to do that through FaceTime, WhatsApp. I don't know a whole lot of people that use WhatsApp locally, but maybe I'm just old. I don't know, but
that have, clients that might be relocation, anyone who's out of the country.
Right. So do you have anything to add to that one?
No, not to that one. I did want to go back though, and talk about referral partners real quick.
Okay.
I feel like this is a good time while everyone is reassessing their business and, where are we going to go from here, to reevaluate your referral partners, because I think it's important that it's a two-way street. Certain referrals can't be a two-way street. Certain ones can. And I would go through those and say, is there a contractor that I can partner with that will send me referrals and that I can refer out? Landscapers, anyone that can give you kind of a tip that maybe, hey, this house might be going on the market soon. Those are relationships that you want to write down. These are my referral partners. And then later on, when we can be around people, maybe do some videos with them and post that to your social media so that, you're having that value to your database.
That's awesome.
Yep. That's something that I like to sit with and have people, because, the goal is to be mostly referral based. And that's an important thing to reevaluate. Am I getting, where are my referrals coming from? Is this worth it for me? Should I be referring someone else?
Yeah. And I would I'd like to add to that too, because one of the things that I do, and this isn't in a form of arrogance or I only want to work with who I want to work with, but a few years ago, I realized, life is short. I guess we all know that, but we always don't think it. And part of us being in our industry and sales is we get freedoms. We get freedoms, not just freedom to work when we want, where we want, but we have the freedom to work with who we want. If there's somebody that is, I usually ask in the class how many people have fired a client. Almost everybody, because there are people that aren't a good fit, and we don't have to work with them. If we work for a company, we have to, right? If we work for ourselves, we don't have to. And so one of the things I do with especially referral partners is I know exactly what type of referral partner I want to work with. And it's similar to what you said. I want to work with very happy, positive people. I don't want to work with negative people. Life's too short to be around negative people. Even on Facebook, I unfriend negativity all the time. So I want to work with very, very positive people, but I also want to work with people that want the same desires and kind of goal, very driven people that when you say it is a partnership, you're 100% right, and it should go both ways. And so I want to work with people that want to bounce ideas, want to brainstorm, want to work together, want to help grow the business, and not just people that, I hate to say takers, but sometimes there are people there, they want, on the lending side, a lot of times I hear complaints from realtors that, yeah, I've been using this lender for 3 years and he or she doesn't even thank me. Like yes, their job is to do a good job and close the loan and blah, 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 but have some appreciation, right? People don't feel appreciated. So when you work with somebody who has the same mindset, and so everybody's not a fit, you work with people that have the same mindset, and it's a reciprocal relationship, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I like that
Are
point.
so important. So this is a good time to reevaluate that. I always say you need at least 5 or 6 and reevaluate that. Anyone in the any industry, contractors, landscapers, lenders, and title, reevaluate that.
Yes, I agree. So the things that we're going through right now, I feel what I'm seeing personally, and probably everybody is seeing that, is there's going to be a huge shift in business in general in our country because of this coronavirus. There's always a silver lining. Like, I'm the type of person I always want to look at the positive too. And I'm talking about in general business, but also in real estate. There's going to be a lot of money saving things that happen. And the hugest thing that I've seen and we're already seeing is the fact that a lot of business and work can be done from home. Real estate's a little different. You're still showing houses, and face-to-face is so important, but I've seen it in so many other businesses. I think what we're going to see over the next few years is a lot of companies are going to have a lot more people working from home, because I see people more productive from home a lot of times. And so when something bad happens, it forces us to think differently and think outside of the box and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of positive things happen with technology. And this is forcing a lot of people who haven't grasped technology to do that, because it's necessary now. And so that this is a great time, like I said earlier, for any realtor to learn more, to take classes, to learn how to do something that you didn't know how to do on the tech side. So, yep. We just talked about this. Basically, look for, not just from your lender, but any partners, title, look for, you know, you got to have a good match. And I, you know, in the virtual assistant side, I always talk to people who are hiring VAs. And if you're ever hiring anybody to work with you, you might have the most experienced, best person ever. But if you are not a good fit with that person, it doesn't work. And so we match with different people, right? That's why your friend introduces you to their new boyfriend or girlfriend and they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest person in the world. I just love them, blah, blah, blah. And you walk away like, oh my God, who the
Thinking.
yeah, but everybody's different, right? And so just yeah, and we talked about it, show gratitude. It's so important.
Yeah, and that's part of what my job is. We joke that your title rep is your matchmaker because we have to find that perfect relationship with our escrow officers and our agents. And at the end of the day, if it's not a good fit, you know, we rotate and we'll find
Yes.
that for you. And I was a psychology major, so I know that a lot of the personalities aren't always gonna get a match. I'm a big believer in the Enneagram. I don't know if you've ever done the Enneagram.
Yes.
But it is, I'm a 7, so I'm like, you know, ready, like, I'm like the, let's go out and do things and be positive and yay. And, and someone else who's a perfectionist and very like this, they may not, you know, be a good fit for someone like me. And so that's why we just try to partner people with their personalities. And so it's fun to be able to have that position, at least on our side. We can be the matchmaker.
Yes. Yep. That's very smart because not a lot of companies and people think that way. We do the DISC assessment with everybody because
do that as well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because you're probably a high D&I and a lower S&C.
Me?
Are you detailed or do you're because you're more of a I'm sorry?
I'm an I. I'm just like in the middle I.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Most realtors are higher D&I and lower S&C, and that's why I feel like every agent that really wants to grow their business should hire a transaction coordinator so they spend that time doing the things they love. So yeah, we do the same thing because it is so important. I'm sorry?
You teach the DISC like at all?
Yeah, I have a class on how to do DISC, you know.
Awesome. Because
Yeah.
we do DISC training as well. So
oh, cool.
That's important whenever you are working with your clients so that you know how to accommodate them. You can't change your personality, but you can at least be respectful of theirs while you're working with them. So it's good to know, you know, what you're walking into.
Yep. And that for some reason that made me think of this book, The 7 Love Languages.
Yes.
Like every person on here should go buy that book and read it because that will help you with not just your relationships,
That's 5.
but with your clients. Oh, 5. Okay. What did I say? 7?
You said 7. We can make them up.
Yeah, but great book. And it's the same thing that, you know, because you can't really give a DISC assessment to your clients. But if you learn how the DISC works, you can pretty much guess what they are.
Right. It's an educated guess. So yes, when we're talking about value that we can bring to our agents, you know, that's definitely something to do.
I'm going to talk about a few softwares and then I'm sure you have some too that you want to add.
Okay.
But if for those of you that don't know what Phone Burner is, I'll kind of go over it really quick. You can upload your database, whatever it is. It can be, you know, you guys can export your cell phone to a CSV file and upload it. You can export your Facebook. It's a little bit tougher as far as phones, but all their emails. But anyway, so Phone Burner, or you can add them, however you do it. But what Phone Burner does is it just helps you make a lot more calls a lot faster. So let's say you have 200 people or 2,000, whatever, in your cell phone, upload it, and or you can upload a list of all your past clients, but whatever, you upload it in there. What Phone Burner does is you will upload, you'll record the voicemail. So the voicemail might be, hey, I was just thinking about you, wanted to call and see how things were going, check up on you and your family, blah, blah, blah. Record the voicemail. This is Richard, da, da, da. You don't say anyone's name because it's generic, but nobody knows it. Because when you leave a voicemail, you don't always say their name anyway. Same with text. So you upload the voicemail. What the system does is, well, then you can put whatever you want on the caller ID. So you can put your cell. Then you start making calls. When somebody answers, you just talk to them. And then as soon as you hang up, the next call dials. If it goes to voicemail, you move on to your next call. The system leaves a voicemail. So that's why you're able to get 5 times more calls done in a 2-hour period using Phone Burner. So it works really, really well. Especially, I have other people that make calls on my behalf. And so it's my voicemail that goes to 70% of people's phones. And then the 30% that answer, it might be a virtual assistant saying, hey, we're just following up to see if you're still interested in buying or selling a house in the next 60 days. So they get, hundreds of calls done a week using Phone Burner. So that works real good. Slide broadcast, for those of you, I want to preface what I say about that the cell phone companies are now showing it as spam. And I found recently that people aren't even seeing that you called and there's no voicemail left. So I hate spam as much as everybody. But to me, this slide broadcast works really well. And I'll tell you basically what it is you upload your database the same way. Slide broadcast, or then you record your voicemail. Slide broadcast will automatically call every phone number in the database. The phone will ring so fast and then it goes to voicemail automatically, so nobody's phone ever rings. So when they pick up their phone, they're going to see a missed call and then a voicemail, and then your voicemail's on there. And it's a great way to make hundreds and thousands of calls where you're just leaving a voicemail. And these are done with a lot of people with calling real generic lead lists through some of those websites. But like I said, we did some testing on it and I didn't even get a voicemail. And so AT&T and some of the others are showing that as spam. So texting, we talked about, like, right now, a really cool way to communicate is by text, because people are at home. And so in the first couple times I used group text, I literally was on my phone texting people back and forth for like 2 hours. And so basically what group text is for iPhones, Mighty Text is for Android. Basically what it does is it allows you to send a group text. It allows you to make lists, or you can upload your entire cell phone. But so I have a list of all my past clients. And so it allows me to send write one text message in there and then hit send, and the app sends one at a time. So it looks like they're just getting it from me to them, because people just feel like it's not sincere and people get annoyed with group text. I'm the same. So if I send a text and say, hey, just thinking about you, hope you have a great weekend. Let me know if you need anything, smiley face, smiley face. If I send that text and people get it and it shows that I sent it to 200 people, they're just going to feel like it's not sincere. So group text is literally $2, like $2.99 one-time app fee to download the app. I will say be very careful and read the directions carefully, because you don't want to accidentally send it and it goes to everybody together as a group. So you have to go to your settings, turn off group texting, reboot your phone, and then do it. Mighty Text is different. It gets run by your You can do it on the computer, not on the phone. So it's actually really cool. Do you have anything to add to texting?
No, I mean that I've never even heard of Mighty Tech, so I think that's a really cool tool. One thing that I do like to share with my agents when we are discussing touches and how many touches we need to create those appointments, and of course our appointments right now look a little bit different, but we need to be making those touches to our database. And one way to do that with text messages is, say it's midnight and you're in your bed, you're on Facebook, and you see that, oh, Sally's cat had to get put down and I feel so bad for her. I want to send her a personal message about that. So there's a way to schedule a text message so you're not sending her a text at midnight. It'll send at like 9 in the morning whenever you schedule it to go out. And so whenever these things are staying top of mind for you, you're able to send that out and just schedule it for later. So I think that's a good way to be making those touches, and not, something I didn't know about. Someone shared with me and I thought that was interesting and a really cool idea.
That's an awesome point. Yeah. Cause I'm the same way. I always think of all these things. And when we think of those things late at night, we have to do something with it. Like you either write it down or do something, because that crap will stay in your brain and then you can't sleep good. But that's a great point. And so one of the things I'm doing right now during these times is I'm time blocking time where I'm sending a lot of text messages. And so I go to my phone, and Michael told me about a really cool but a really cool way to stay in touch with people is you go to your phone and you go to your messages, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you start just sending text messages to people that you haven't texted in a long time. And these might be a year, 2 years on some people. So what I've been doing during this stay-at-home stuff is, and working from home, is I time blocking time and just reaching out to people like you just said, and just texting them personal text messages. And I'm getting people like, oh, it's so good to hear from you. Yes, everything's going great. Our family's okay. I hope yours is. And that's business right now. It's helping people, and it's relational, but it's marketing. Like, it's very smart marketing. And I know sometimes, some of the things that we're talking about, you might be saying, that's so basic. Like, we know, I thought I was coming on this webinar and there was going to be like this new silver bullet to blow up my business. Guess what? This is. And we know we're supposed to do these things, but we're not doing them. And so now more than ever, get on the habit of doing them, because it is so important. And so cell phone video camera, we talked about that. Doing video selfies, very, very awesome. BombBomb, same thing. Basically, BombBomb, if you don't know BombBomb, I think it's the only CRM that allows you to record a video. And when somebody opens their email on their phone and clicks on the video plays. Yeah. All the other apps and CRMs, you have to click on it. It opens up something else. You got to click on it again, and people are busy. They don't want to do that. So that's what's cool about that. Zoom, the difference in, like, if you get a Zoom account, I'm doing Zoom right now as a webinar. So only you and I are seeing each other. We're not seeing everybody, but you'll use the basic Zoom as a meeting, and you can have a meeting with a buyer or seller and do video. Even like a friend, even anybody that you want to call, you can do video right now to kind of up your game. Now, I will say sometimes I get creeped out when I'm getting a FaceTime call, because think about it. I wouldn't just do it. I don't think we're at the point where we're going to do our past client database and we're going to FaceTime them, because people aren't ready, or they don't,
They might be after this. I mean, I've done more video in the last 2 weeks than I think I ever have in my life. So you might be getting some FaceTime phone calls from me, Richard.
True. No. And it's, I think in a business sense, it's good. But what I've done, like if I'm going to do a video call to a past client, they have no idea I'm calling them, I'm shooting them a text. Hey, you have a quick second for a video call?
Mm-hmm.
And some people ignore it because lots people are scared to be on video still. But the more we do it now, the better, especially business wise. Um, so, and so video selfies, you don't have to worry, right?
Well, and one thing I would encourage while we do have this downtime and we are at home would be to record 12 videos. Do 12.
Yes.
That way, you can post one per month for the next 12 months, and then you have a video every single month, something that's real estate related, something that brings value to your sphere. And that's what I would suggest, also while we're getting comfortable with video, go ahead and capitalize on that and do those videos and post them to your social media.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Do video as much as you possibly can. But yeah, putting together a video library is important. And I'll say also, just because you posted it once doesn't mean, like, don't think, oh, I've already posted that one. You could post those same 12 videos for, like, the first video one, you could post it 6, 10 times the first month. Like, different people see your post, people forget. It's like the videos don't get old. I did a video a day on social media every day for like 470 something days in a row. Never missed a day. And I don't know why I stopped, because it's kind of like, we do things for our business and then we get great response and then we stop doing them. But now we repost the old videos. Nobody ever has said, that's an old one. I've seen that one. Why are you reposting it?
I only want new videos.
Yep. So social media right now is a great time to be all over social media. I would just say double down on it. Yep. What you guys see is kind of a list of what I do every day. And I also have a virtual assistant that does my list every day too. So I really double down because she's doing it as me. But number one, by far, every person, like right now, you know how we don't have time to do little things? Right now is the perfect time to look up every past client, every person business partners, colleagues, vendors, people that your doctor's office, everyone that now is the time to look them up on Facebook and friend request them.
Absolutely.
Right?
You're the only other person I think I've come across that actually has said the same thing that I say, which is Facebook is your database. I mean, it's another your database. If you do not have a CRM, you definitely need a CRM. It is the best way to get content, emails, videos, if you choose BombBomb, other methods to stay in touch with your clients. But everybody in your database should also be on your Facebook page, because I don't think some people realize how much that plays a role in business today. And people want to know who they're working with. So I always also suggest, if you don't have a business page, to create one, but that there's different content that goes on that business page than what goes on your profile. One's more of a portfolio, one is who you are. And people want to see who you are. So anyone help with that? Richard and I both always are social media lovers. So I'm always willing to help and sit with anyone who needs help with social media. It's a big passion of mine. So
awesome. Yep, I agree with you 100%. Have every person you should be connected with. Because if you really think, times have changed in real estate. People want to work with a realtor they like, and people want to work with a realtor that is like them. But more importantly, they want to see you as who you are. So 80% of your posts should be personal, 20% business in a cool way. So we have to let people remember that we're realtors, but we have to be ourselves, because we will attract the right people and we'll attract business. But if they're not seeing us, then they're not going to remember. We're not going to be top of mind. And that's why if you look at the third point on there, I go to my friends list 10 a day. What that means is, like right now, Facebook is telling you who your favorite friends are. And you're only seeing about 14 to 15% of your friends' posts, and only about 14 to 15% of your friends are seeing your posts. So if you have 2,000 friends, only 14% are seeing you. So you're lost. You're not even like, nobody knows, like they're not seeing you. So I want to tell Facebook who's important to me. So what I do every day, every morning in my social media time block, so from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday, for my business, and but it's a lot of personal stuff. But I'm on social media 2 hours a day. Like every realtor should be on social media and online branding 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And I'm going to talk about the branding side here in a minute and send you guys some really, really awesome information about that. But so I go to my friend list. I look for 10 people that I have not seen in a while. Especially I'm looking for past clients and stuff, people that can refer to me, right? And so I find Mr. Jones. I haven't seen any posts from him. Maybe he doesn't get on Facebook. I go to his profile and he just posted 30 minutes ago, but I'm not seeing it because he's not in my top 14%. So I go to 10 different people. I like some of their posts, maybe make a comment, and then I go to the message side, which is Facebook Messenger, and I send them a DM. I send them a direct message. Hey, Tom, hope all is well. Just popping by to check up on you. Smiley face, blah, blah, blah. So I do 10 a day, 5 days a week. So now every person eventually, because I have almost 5,000, but every person is seeing me, hearing from me, and seeing my posts, and then I start seeing them. So I don't have the same people like Facebook wants me to have. It's always somebody different, and they're seeing my posts and so forth. So I do that, and then every morning I like and comment. It sounds basic, but and then 10 direct messages. So aside from the 10 friend list, then I go and find 10 more people that I do business with, or have past clients or friends or family business. And so I send DMs 10 a day. And just to point out, text messaging or Facebook Messenger is very similar to texting. It has like an almost 100% open rate. So people are seeing it and they're commenting and they're replying and so forth. I do the birthday greetings, and for you guys, go to redkid.com. It might be .net, so check that out. But Redkid is what allows me to do the messages, like it's either a birthday cake, or it's a movie theater thing, or it's a billboard, a picture of a billboard, and it allows you to put their name in there. So the birthday cake's gonna say, "Happy birthday, Tom Jones." And then they really, really like that. Go to group pages, Facebook group pages, and any type of, like if your farm area is in Katy or your farm area is Cinco Ranch, there's lots of group pages that you can not spam, but that you can reply and comment and help people. And I remember years ago, an agent posted something that said, "Hey, for everybody, just so you know, La Centera on Friday night is doing the free movie night outside." And I was like, I didn't know they did that. That is so cool. This was years ago. And I went to it. And so I've never forgot that. Like, be that person that's just giving out information, because what people do, like, not everybody's a super stalker like Michael. I'm just kidding. But what people do is they see that comment, and then what do they do after they see it? You want to answer, Priscilla?
Add you as a friend. Oh, I want to know this person. They seem like they know what's going on in our area.
Yeah. or even just click on them to look, and then they see, oh, Realtor specializes in Katy, Texas, you know, and then adds. So that's real important. Be that person that's positive. Be that person that gives value, because giving value is not always, you know, what to do before you list your house, what to do before you sell your house. It's not always that. It's just basic stuff, you know, giving information. And right now, the best value you can give is when you hear something or see something that is positive that's happening, give that value. Like it might be for people that have been laid off or furloughed or whatever. Here's the link to apply for. Like right now, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you guys are self-employed, and you know, and everybody's different. Everybody looks at it differently. But you can apply for unemployment, and it's not the thought that, well, you have to get laid off or fired to get unemployment. Self-employed business owners right now with this new bill that went through, right, if it affected your business, you might still have a closing coming up next month, but maybe you would have had 3. And so you can apply for unemployment and still work. It's not like the old unemployment where you get laid off and it's also not like you haven't paid it, because every person has paid unemployment. Ever since we were 16 and working, part of our money coming out of our checks went to unemployment. So it's our money. So you guys can do that. We're W-2, so we can't, but it's,
right. But I believe also anyone, if you want to be that resource for people and put that out there on your social media to your sphere, I believe there's also a link on Facebook showing where Governor Abbott waived that 10-day wait as well for those that need to file. So I think that's to be out there sharing with people who might need it. Yes,
and give information, like, because the people that have been furloughed, and I never really knew what furlough meant. It means that they were fired basically because the businesses are not operating right now. Don't look at them as, well, they can't buy a house. Believe me, they're gonna buy a house, because everything's gonna go back to normal. The guidelines are going for lending will, like, we have people that they might be out of work for 5 months. We still loan them houses. So don't think of it as, well, if they're furloughed, why am I gonna call them? Call and help, right? And everybody refers. So I mean, business is business. Yeah. So birthday greetings, Facebook groups. I would say a lot of people are scared of videos. And the only thing I'm going to say about that is my 2 rules. I never watch my own videos, because I'm like everybody. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like this. Everybody's like this. So don't watch your videos. My other rule is very hard. Very hard. A lot of people don't do this, is I never do a retake. So if I mess up, I say something, I do it totally wrong, I just keep going. And what I found, and the reason I do that, is people don't care, and people actually like those videos better because it shows you're human. The worst videos are the ones where you're trying to act like a news person. Nobody wants that, right? And so Facebook Live, if you do lives, I'll give 2 points. Number 1, Facebook is in competition with YouTube. They will post your live video more than any other post that you make. And what I mean by that is more people will see that above anything else. Remember this, point number 2 is, you might do a Facebook Live and you might get frustrated because only 2 people were watching. 89 or 87, whatever % of views on your Facebook Live are after it's live. It doesn't matter how many are on Facebook Live. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk has millions of followers. Every morning he's doing Tea with Gary V, and it is like, you know, you talk about something bad happening that we're going through and how you can do something good business-wise. This is blowing up for him. He's helping so many people, and it's become so popular that he does a live every morning. And so he has millions and millions of people that view his videos. But when it's live, he only has 9,000 people on there. And for us, 9,000 would be like unbelievably awesome. But for him, he's getting millions of views, but during the actual live, it's only 9,000. Don't worry about how many people are on there. But doing video selfies, doing personal videos, doing Facebook videos, doing video Facebook Live, it is so important right now. If you have a message to give or you're giving some sort of value, just do it on video. Do it on Facebook Live. Hey, just want to let you know, I right below this, after this live, I'm going to comment, or I think you can even do it before you do the live, but below is the link for you to do a small business loan, because right now, pretty much anybody that's in business for themselves can get a business loan and get their money in 10 days. So the link is below. I actually have that link, which is amazing that, and I said business loan, but they're doing forgivable loans. Like they're just giving small businesses money right now. That's probably one of the greatest things that's in this bill is, during the mortgage crisis, all the banks and big companies got all this millions and trillions of dollars, but small businesses really hurt. This one, so much is going to small business. So you got to let people know. You got to think about all the restaurants, all the small business. Like, number one, yes, we should help them by eating there as opposed to a giant chain because it's helping our community, but maybe they don't know. Be that person to let them know. Branding, we have time to work on branding. I'm just going to show you guys one quick strategy for branding. And I will point out that, I might sound harsh, but if people Google you and don't find you, you are not relevant and you are not a realtor. I hate to say it. Seriously, if I want to use somebody for business and I Google them and I don't find, the only thing that shows up is their HAR and then it's real basic that doesn't have anything on there, I won't work with them. I said business and then I said HAR, that's a realtor. So I didn't mean realtors, but what I'm saying is perception is everything. And if people can't find you, the perception is you're not busy, you're not real, you're not full-time, you're not doing it. And so realtors have to have that. If somebody Googles you, there should be all sorts of things pop up. And so I'm going to send you guys a list of all these online business listing websites. And you have time to enter all your information. So what I would do is I would get on a Word document on your first one and put all the basic information so you can just start copying and pasting and do it faster. So business listing websites, what are they? Some real basic ones are Google Business, right? Bing, Yelp, Facebook, a lot, and then there's all the real estate ones that you guys would want to be on. Maybe you hate Zillow, but guess what? If somebody Googles your name, your Zillow page is going to pop up. And I'm talking about the free stuff. Like all these business listing websites you want to be on. And what's cool is, like, I've seen realtor, I've Googled different things, like I'm online all the time, and I might Google Katy, Texas realtor or Katy, Texas real estate. And I've seen realtors, Yelp pages, websites pop up above their companies almost all the time. So you have to have your own Yelp. You have to be on yellowpages.com. You have to have, so when someone Googles your name, because I can tell you it's 2020, I don't care if your best friend's daughter is buying a house and refers them to you, before they call you, they are going to Google you. 100% of the time, I would say. Like the old days of, well, my mom said to call you and so I know you're the best. Those days are over. We are irrelevant if we're not found. So you've got to be on there because everybody's Googling, Yelping, everybody's checking to see who you are. And so I'm going to send you guys all these different listings and spend some time and just go to them and get on there. So if you Google Richard Smith Mortgage or Richard Smith Katy, Texas, you will see that I have like the first four pages are all these different websites. If you Google Katy, Texas mortgage lender, I think I'm number one underneath the couple that pay. And that's just because we get on these websites and listings, like especially your Google business. If you don't have a Google business, do that today. It is so important. It's very hard to get, it's harder, I shouldn't say it's hard. It's harder to get testimonials on there because Google wants people to jump through hoops, but then it's good because they're real. And so that's real important. Do you want to talk about any branding stuff?
Well, I think also when it comes to these searches, one of the first things that populates as well is going to be your Facebook business page.
Yes.
I don't think it is dire that your Facebook business page is equal to your Facebook profile. Those are two different platforms, two different things, right? Your Facebook business page, like what I was saying before, is going to be your portfolio. That's going to be when people are Google searching you, that's going to be what's populating, and they can see, oh, well, they sold this house, and oh, they had buyers from this house, and oh, well, it looks like they know what they're doing. Let me go ahead and call this person. And then once you build that relationship, that's when you add them to your Facebook profile, and then they can see who you are, more of who you are. And so I think that those two platforms are two separate things, but I think it cohesively comes together and helps you to get that business. So I think that's important as well, to make sure that you're updating your Facebook business page as well for those people who might be referrals that don't.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because that's 100%. Same with LinkedIn.
Yes.
Like when someone Googles you, there's going to be basic ones like Google business page will be on the first page, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. So it's just so important because you want perception's everything.
Absolutely. And anyone who has issues with this, because I know that the average age of a successful realtor is 51 years old, and may not always feel comfortable with learning some of these platforms, doing some of these things. And so that's when you need to look out to your industry partners and say, help me. And so Richard and I are always available. I sit one-on-ones a lot with older that may not know how to operate these things, and I can help them. I know, Richard, you have virtual assistants as well that can help with the marketing side, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So all kinds of options for you guys, and I like to be a resource with that. And one other thing that is not branding related totally, that I would like to touch base on, is if you don't have a business plan yet, it's not too late. You know, now is the time to kind of assess or reassess, where am I going to go this year? How can I get there? What does that look like? How many touches do I need to be making? And all of those things, so that you can have some direction. And that's something that I can help with as well, if you don't already do that. So
I'm glad you said that, because in our coaching group, we do our business plans every 90 days anyway, because things change. But I think after this, our first live class, we should do the business plan class again, because things have changed.
absolutely.
And doing it every 90 days is so huge anyway. Kind of putting it all together. Number one, don't panic. Now, honestly, is the time to remain calm. The best leaders in the world, and everybody on this call is a leader. You're a leader to your family, to whether it's a team, you're a leader to your clients, is to remain calm. Like, it's so important. And then be consistent with, kind of go through the things that we talked about today and pick, really, you can do them all. There's enough time to do everything we talked about, but map it out. I'm going to send you guys, everybody here is going to get an email with the PowerPoint and some other value items. I'm going to send you a daily success plan, and it's a template that you can change and add and do whatever. And we use that in our coaching group, and that little piece of paper has done more to stay consistent. daily, and we check it off and we write down how many calls we do. Everything we talked about can be in there. And so it's so important to be consistent and to, separate yourself and just, I guess, be consistent. If you have a team, make sure everybody knows you appreciate them. And that's the same with your clients. But if you do have people that work for you, believe me, we never tell people enough that we appreciate them in general. So think about that. And then we talked about this, use video as much as possible. Like for you, Priscilla, you could do a video today and you could walk back to one of your escrow officers and say, hey, if you've never seen what an escrow officer does, this is what they do. And she's at her desk and blah, blah, blah. Like you guys.
She would probably kill me, but it's okay. It makes for good social media content, right?
There you go. A great one is behind the scenes stuff for realtors. So when you have a professional photographer going out, go out to the house and do a video. And in the background is do the video on yourself. And in the background, you can see the photographer and say, hey, just wanted to let everybody know, have a new listing coming up. You can see behind me the professional photographer taking pictures. Like people want to see that real life type stuff. It's not coincidental that the #1 type of TV out there is reality. People want to see it. When you have an inspector, record yourself with the inspector doing an inspection. As much video as possible though right now is super important, and I'm preaching it, and I haven't been doing enough videos myself. So this is going to be, when I teach, I do a lot of teaching for myself too as I'm teaching, because I need to do more videos too. So I'm going to.
I do too. We need a video accountability group.
Yes, that's a good idea.
One point though I would like to make is if you are new to video, and there's some do's and don'ts and stuff like that. But if you're new and you just want to dabble with it, your Facebook story only stays for 24 hours.
Yes.
I suggest if you're just a little weary, you don't want it to stay forever, just start with your Facebook stories or your Instagram stories, and they can connect. And then it's only on there for 24 hours. And then you'll see maybe it's not so bad. And then you can incorporate it with actual posts.
Yeah, and another thing about Facebook stories is anybody who's done them, if you can see who saw your story, and every time I'll go up and see who saw my story, and I'm seeing people that, oh my gosh, I forgot I was even friends with that person, and that's your chance to click on their profile, reach out to them, send them a DM. I was actually doing that yesterday. I was DMing people that looked at my Facebook story. So it sounds weird, but it's super important. Ask for business. This is case by case, because when we're doing the calls right now to check on people, we're not asking for business. We're building that relationship. But there's still, like we talked about, there's still business. There's still people that want to buy and sell. So on a case by case, you can ask for business. So if I'm talking, I called somebody and I was just checking up on them, and he said, hey, I know, something about we're still wanting to buy, and well, okay, don't forget. And if you talk to anybody else, let me know. So that was a time where it was okay to ask for business. So it's really case by case. Be very careful, because we want to be sensitive. If I'm calling everybody in my database today and I'm just telling them, hey, don't forget me, I'm a lender, send me people that know, a huge majority of them are going to get pissed, right? So just case by case. Practice safety, we already talked about that. Be kind. This is in general. People out there are scared. Just be kind. I mean, we should always be kind anyway, but and then the most important thing is, for me, is the bottom here is stay in the draft. Stay in the draft means talk to people, like-minded people. So have some of your calls you're making other realtors, call your lender, call your title person. Stay in the draft with business-minded people, because what tends to happen when we're going through this is we just kind of forget about what we're doing, and we need to use this time to share ideas and to get strong in our businesses and so forth. And then obviously technology, and then gratitude.
Absolutely. One thing with staying with in the draft, is that what you called it? Staying in the draft. A suggestion I have would be to do a virtual realtor roundtable. I'd be willing to participate.
Yes.
Where you bring each other upcoming listings that you have going on, see if you've got any buyers that can match with it, and bounce ideas of how are you doing your virtual videos, what's working for you, what's not. Collaboration is key, especially in a time like this. So that's something that I would gladly be willing to do with anyone who wants to do that. I'm sure Richard would as well, and do that once a week, a realtor roundtable. I think that would be good.
That's like the greatest thing you just said.
I'm all about the ideas, Richard.
I just wrote it down because I'm going to actually do that next week. You want to do it together? Because if we use Zoom, not Zoom webinar like this one, but the Zoom meeting where we all see each other and we're all talking to each other and we're all bouncing ideas and we're all doing that. So we're going to set that up. So if anybody, keep your eyes open. If you're interested, we will shoot that out.
Absolutely. And do you see the list of people that have hopped onto this? Do you see that?
I don't see. We have a list of everybody that registered.
Okay.
And so I'm going to use that list to send out all the information and everything. So yes.
Okay. Well, I would like to do a, we're going to do a raffle or a drawing. I want to pick a number. Is there a way for you to see that list so I can decide who's going to get I want to do a $25 local restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to pick a number and then I'll count?
Yes. So my lucky number is 5.
All right.
So 5. I would like for them to win a $25 gift card to a local restaurant of their choice, so that we're supporting our local restaurants at this time. So
okay, so Chuck won. Chuck Fennell.
I will reach out to Chuck after this and get with him where he wants to go.
Awesome. So that is all I had. This is my information, but I would say definitely check out Priscilla. If you guys have not used Priscilla and her title company, I would try her and see. Definitely. And with me, it would be an honor to help out. And I kind of always say, and we talked about this earlier, is you want to be a good fit, and not everybody is. But when you're working with a title company that's a great match and a great fit, you're working with a lender that's a great match and a great fit, oh my gosh, it makes things go so much better.
It does. And one thing I can tell you is working for a direct underwriter, we are the only national direct underwriter that does not outsource our title exams. And so for anyone who doesn't know about the title industry, that's a big deal. Everything is done right here off of Post Oak in Houston. That's where our title plant is. I know a lot of other title companies, especially direct underwriters, they're having delays in closing because those title exams are being done overseas. And because of the COVID-19, things are getting delayed, closings are getting delayed. We're not having that here because everything is in-house, local. And so that's something that you want to keep in mind. And while we do have facilities for e-closings and those things, we're always handling it on a case-by-case basis. We're accommodating and filling in the gaps to whatever we need to do file by file to make sure that we're getting everything closed. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to work with you guys. I can help with social media, business plans, and the like. So I appreciate you, Richard, for having me on here, and hopefully
you bet
on that Realtor Roundtable.
Yes, yes. I appreciate you and everybody. We do appreciate you spending time with us today. You could have done anything and you decided to spend it with us. So we appreciate that greatly. Again, look out for that email, and I hope everybody stays safe and has an awesome rest of the week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.